Okay, it's 6 o'clock, Verizon time. Time to start the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for September 9th, 2025. Roll call.
Ms. Orich?
Here.
Mr. Unger?
Here.
Mr. Waller?
Here.
Okay, and could we stand up to say the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for our moment of meditation, I just want to have everybody, what has happened earlier this month, keep in your prayers for the safety of our police officers.
And let us never forget what happened 24 years ago this week with 9/11.
Thank you. Okay, we have some approval of minutes.
Thank you, Board. I would recommend a motion for the approval of the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on August 26, 2025.
I motion that we approve the August 26 meeting minutes.
I second.
No comments?
None for me.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move on to citizens' address. And we have a new light indicator. You get 5 minutes. So you got a green light here, and your yellow light is you have a minute left. And then when the red comes on, your time has expired. And we have a little vetting message that please be aware that the statements and opinions provided by the members during our public during citizens' address do not necessarily represent the views or positions of Colerain Township, nor are they guaranteed for accuracy. The Township does not vet, fact-check, pre-approve, or review any such commentary prior to citizens' address. And with that, I just have one, and I have Gerald Schmidt.
Welcome, sir.
My name is Gerhard Schmidt. I live at 3704 Blue Rock Road. In October, my family will be Colerain Township residents for 43 years. I have addressed Colerain Township trustees and zoning commissioners before, the first time for the current administration. I'm not endorsing any companies mentioned herein. I'm old school, so I put my information in writing with 2 requests and comments and a few thank yous. Number 1, Colerain Township 27th of September Recycling Day. Please review the list of acceptable items and possibly add more for the next event. Also consider better ways of handling the material. Team Up to Green Up Colerain can probably help. Many of the current acceptable items can generate revenue. For instance, by having recyclers put their containers on site. Example, River Metal Recycling on New Haven Road. The event expenses can be financed. Some acceptable items are not accepted by Colerain Recycling. Example, electronics, batteries, pots and pans, and therefore good to be included. Some acceptable items are also accepted by businesses. Some batteries and light bulbs by Home Depot, plastic bags by Kroger, and Colerain Township senior citizens who use the plastic bags for craft material. Colerain Fire Station also accepts smoke detectors year-round, so the material are properly handled versus into landfills. This complements their smoke detector program. This is a very good Colerain Township program to prevent wrongful items from occupying landfill or from being dumped on the side of the road or river, requiring Colerain Township maintenance to clean up and expenses. People may not be eager to hold items for an annual recycling day. It might be better to have multiple events per year and more advertising. Number 2, it appears that more prevention should be done by Colerain Township zoning and administration to require commercial construction sites to comply to zoning regulations and safety. Prevention is a much better than commercial property owners asking for forgiveness, reconciliation, paying damages to neighbors, and compensation. Another example, the current site at Blue Rock Road and Banning Road. There were 7 buildings demolished that were all pre-1978 vintage. This is noteworthy because before 1978, paint contained lead. Once disturbed, the lead as dust and material can get into soil, stormwater. The debris material, which was hauled off site, hopefully has EPA's lead-based paint removal certification. I have no idea if it does or not. Now, thank you, Colerain Township Police, for your work in prevention. By taking illegal and dangerous drugs out of the sales distribution, there are more people safe from harming themselves and others. Thank you, Colerain Township Fire Department, Station 26, for notifying Hamilton County Maintenance to have fire hydrants replaced when they were run over by cars. Example, one fire hydrant at 3991 Blue Rock Road that was hit twice this year, once on March 19th and again on the 19th of August. They were put back into working order before they were needed. Thank you also, Colerain Township EMT and Fire Department, for the Grab Bar program. It's prevention that recipients will appreciate when they need it, and they do have it. Also, thank you, Colerain Township Trustees, for my 5 minutes of your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I don't have any more. Okay. Yes, sir? Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
I've been a ma'am. First off, I'd like to invite the trustees that are running for office to a debate on the second Monday of October. And you'll be getting emails for the time and location of the debate. And of course, it's open to all candidates. Couple things. So, the prior meeting, I requested that I made a public records request on record at the meeting, requesting that Mr. Wetback present a copy of the order that he referenced to the Wawa residents, telling them that that mountain was put there due to an order received by the county, and that's why we acquiesced to that. And so at the next meeting, I hope he produces that order, or if he's mistaken and he relied on a third party to explain to us, the public, why he said there was an order. Secondly, in reference to the Wawa situation, I did want to share with you a couple things. I hope you're all familiar with the Ohio Township Association's handbook. That's my Bible. That's the best because it answers it in plain layman's terms, our responsibilities. And we keep claiming that we don't have any responsibility to the waters that are occurring to those residents. And I want to share a couple excerpts from that booklet. And if you don't have it, get it. It is wonderful. And it asks, is the township required to maintain or repair underground stormwater drainage facilities installed by a developer, blah, 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 blah. Their answer, because they do a question and answer, is yes. You do have responsibility. What authority do trustees have to construct drains or sewers? You do have to control stormwater. All of this drainage, what authority do the trustees have to construct drains or sewers or carry off surplus water from township roads? That's the most relevant thing. You guys are responsible for the roads, and you all got pictures of how all that water was rushing into the roadway, creating a danger to the residents. And so I just wanted to share with you, before your legal opinion arrives, a couple excerpts from the Township Association's handbook that show that the reason our zoning commission discusses and you all discuss water drainage issues is because it is part of your purview. It is part of your responsibilities. We're also told at the zoning commission meeting a few weeks ago that the legal opinion would be coming within a couple days. It did not, we don't have any knowledge of it. It's been a couple weeks. And so I would like to make a public records request, Mr. Baker, on the record, that as soon as that legal opinion is produced, that it be shared publicly and made available to me, and if it does exist, to give it to me promptly. I also want to share on that note, I shared with you, most of the time you guys go to the Attorney General's office to get legal opinions because the law director has a conflict of interest between representing your interest and the residents and the developers. And I thought it was really inappropriate that you had your law director address this question. It's a conflict of interest. Let's see. I wanted to take exception, Mr. Baker. I was reading your minute meetings. Can you hear me okay? Thank you. Number one, you do a really good job. I think you do a pretty gosh darn good job, at least what you say about me. But it seems like you do a really good job. But I think it would be best if when people make a public records request at the podium, that you're required to reduce that request to a writing and give it to the appropriate authorities. And I think since that's a law, that needs to be included in your meeting minutes. I also want to note that the meeting minutes from the last meeting were still not, or the meeting before that, were still not on the record. I could not find them. Doesn't mean they're not there. I could not find them. I never did receive an answer to why we're doing public hearings without having the documents together. Am I about done?
Yep, Ms. Davis, your time's up. Thanks so much. Your 5 minutes is up, Ms. Davis. Go ahead and please sit down. Thank you.
Okay, then we move on to administrative reports.
Would you guys like these? Okay. Thank you.
Bear with me while I pull up the report, but the first administrative report will be delivered by Fire Chief Alan Walls.
Welcome, Chief.
Ready? Good evening to the board and all of you in attendance and those of you watching virtually. For August of 2025, we had 843 EMS incidents, or 863 as it says there, 198 fire incidents. We had 38 responses into the Pleasant Run EMS contract area and 5 into the West College Hill Golfway contract area. We had a significant building fire in the 12,000 block of Birch Hill Drive with a $65,000 loss, and a significant building fire in the 3,000 block of Springdale Road with a $55,000 loss. Property value loss for the month was $120,550, and property value saved, though, was $480,000. We have a 73.25% save rate for 2025. Incident response time for the arrival of the first unit was 5 minutes and 8 seconds. And first unit on the scene less than 6 minutes was 72.75%.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Board. The next administrative report will be delivered by Chief Ed Cordy of the Police Department.
Chief, good evening.
All right, jumping into it, for the month of August, the police department responded to 3,969 calls for service, which is about 128 calls per day. We conducted 206 traffic stops, handled 149 auto accidents, made 87 arrests, and responded to 32 animal complaints. Again, for the month, we made 8 OVI arrests and wrote 253 citations. We had 6 uses of force, being 2 deployments of OC, 1 taser deployment, 1 takedown, 1 strike, and of course our incident from common circles that resulted in our officers discharging their firearms. We did open 1 internal investigation and had only 1 vehicle pursuit for the month. I say only because, again, last we had 7. For the month, the busiest day of the week is Friday, followed by Sunday, with steady from 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. and 4 p.m. being our busiest hour of the day. Impact team conducted 18 targeted traffic stops, handled 19 felony arrests and 13 misdemeanor arrests, seized 521 grams of marijuana, 19 grams of meth, 2.8 grams of fentanyl, 28.5 grams of crack cocaine, and removed 6 firearms from the streets, which makes 18 for the year just with that unit. They towed 3 vehicles, recovered 3 additional stolen vehicles, had multiple canine deployments, assisted the road 52 details, and conducted 150 hours of investigative follow-ups on tips while executing 3 search warrants. Police department staffing, we're holding steady at 59 officers.
So Chief, great job. When we talk about these 18 firearms, are they weapon under disability, or are they somebody that can't have one, or?
It could be quite a few different things.
Okay.
Quite a few of them are seized. I can think of right off the top of my head, at least a third of them have been seized during search warrants.
Okay.
And a lot of these weapons are assault rifles that have been modded down to handguns. They're typically guns that can even defeat our vests.
Wow,
Oh, wow.
don't like that.
So they, okay, maybe I don't know enough about this. They take like an AR-15 and they modify it to a pistol?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do.
Okay.
It's all about the stock.
All right. Well, great job on that. 18 for the year is, it certainly saved, I would bet, at least several lives with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next administrative report will be delivered by Assistant Administrator Mays.
Welcome, Ms. Mays.
Thank you. Good evening, Board. The Public Services Monthly Report has, for the last month, we had a total of 4,456 vehicles enter Heritage Park. For Colerain Park, we had 4,915 vehicles, and for Clifford Park, we had 6,300. Again, just as a reminder to the public, these are just vehicles, so there could be 1 person in the car or a big minivan with a family of 8. So those are good visitor numbers for us. We're very pleased with those. For trash and litter, we have picked up in the previous month 10 signs, and that could be anything from window washing from Joe to, what have you. 187 bags of trash. They would be really busy with 800 bags of trash. 3 shopping carts and 3 tires. And then finally, I just wanted to announce that the township has finally completed a project that we received state grant funding for. There's a climbing boulder now at Heritage Park. So with the cost of the project and then with the amount of grant funding we received, it cost nothing for the township. So we're really excited about that new amenity. Go check it out.
You tried it yet?
Sadly, I'm a rock climber and I haven't been down there yet. So, but
I tried it, and it is not as difficult as you would think if you don't want it to be difficult, but there are, what I would say, multiple different pathways that you could take to try to get to the top of it, so you can make it as hard or as easy as you would like to.
So it's age appropriate for young to adulthood?
Yeah, yep.
That still don't have any broken bones or anything.
Ms. Mays, thank you. I was going to call because it offended me on 2 levels. The fact that there was one of the signs up on the telephone poles, and it was advertising purchasing diabetic strips, and it offended me for the misspelling. And before I could call to complain about it, they were gone. They're still all over Cincinnati, so you guys jump right on that, and I appreciate that. And
our litter crews are great with picking up signs like that. So.
yeah, the ones that look like they're handwritten, I guess, are printed, right? Yeah, because every single diabetic spelled wrong on 5,000 signs all over the city of Cincinnati, Hamilton County. So thank you for jumping on that. You got to it before I could even call.
Thank you. All right.
And our parks guys get signs in the right-of-ways that's our sign laws that we are not allowed to.
We have zoning rules about on our property what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Okay,
So,
okay.
our staff takes care of that too.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
All right, the next administrative report will be delivered by Development Director David Miller.
Welcome, sir.
Oh, we get color. I know. You get your B+ today.
As a Cowboy fan, you should get whatever we want to give you because you got a rough year ahead.
All right, so our development progress report added a little bit more info for you this month going forward, just so that we can kind of help quantify some of these projects. But BZA, the Board of Zoning Appeals, and our Zoning Commission, we're fairly busy, 3 cases in BZA. We introduced 5 separate cases in the Zoning Commission that are going to be zoning resolution amendments. And so we introduced the topic, asked the Zoning Commission if they were interested in pursuing and having a staff report on those, and based on the experiences that we've been having in the department. And so they did, and those 5 categories are there before you. Sign compliance standards, administrative waivers, swimming pool setbacks, comprehensive use and permission tables, and then short-term rentals, that being Airbnb type arrangements. We're going to transfer those to the police department after discussing how the long-term rentals are being addressed and managed at a very minimal level. Colerain Township right now just does not have a huge influx of STRs, and so we think it would be more efficient to have those managed together under PD. So that's will be before the September 16th Zoning Commission for their consideration. So our applications, we had only 1 new single family. That's a home that's being built by Christo on Houston Road, and that development there. So it's the value there is their cost, as it says, total estimated cost of projects. 4 solar techs, 49 separate residential permits that we processed, 7 commercial, and then I added the master use plan. So those take a considerable amount of time when you're thinking about the change of use and what the property was used for, and then going forward. Signs and parking, all of those take up. And then we had 1 new subdivision. It's an extension of the Pottinger Beavis property, and so they've got a second phase that's moving forward there. So that has gone through the county, but the estimated cost based on what the applicant provided to us just for this month, it was $22,368,542.49. So the lion's share of that is Rumpke. So I think, as you know, they are building a new West Region office building and maintenance facility on 3500 Struble. And so we processed that, and they're moving forward with that application. They're going to have a new business on Hamilton Avenue that is going to be a retail business where you can come in and order granite countertops, and they will custom fabricate those for you. So they're going to build something new. That's going to be just north of Crest Road on Hamilton, and it's just north of the Speedway that's there. So that is what's notable off that. And I wanted to just correct some misinformation that's been, I want to say one other item that was noteworthy. As you may remember, in the last meeting or 2, we processed and you approved the township administrator to sign a grant award for Northgate Mall to do an analysis of stormwater. And so we have continued to work on that project. Going forward, as you know, if you've driven by there, that Sears building is coming down fast. There may not be any structure left. It's just debris. They're going to start working on just surgically removing and smoothing out the facade on the mall, and then moving all that debris off. Should have grass seed planted probably sometime next month and growing. So that's the plan there. It is. So we've been working with the demolition company to provide some commemorative bricks. And so there are some residents who would love to have one for a paperweight or to throw at the TV when the Cowboys are playing, who knows? So nonetheless, we'll announce a date. We'll work with them on announcement to pick those up on site. They want to be there. We're not just going to stick a pile out on the parking lot. But again, as you've noticed, they're digging up the asphalt on that parking lot. There will be the perimeter left around the road, but that is where that is headed right now in the short term. So I wanted to just correct some misinformation that's been available for the public regarding the new Wawa store that the construction has begun. I kind of call it the Wawa South. So we got the Wawa North at Struble and Colerain, and then south was going to be Blue Rock and Banning and Cheviot. So just for clarification purposes, there is a TIF that you had put the overlay on that property. That TIF directs money for the tax payments in certain ways. There is no plan to give any of that money to the development project. That is a fact. The second...
And that includes any changes to any of the roadways that are surrounding that property.
That's right. So there was also misinformation about the county engineer requiring a decel lane. Yes, they did. That is upon the developer to add to their project. They're paying $700,000 additional cost for that project. It's all out of their pocket. There is no tax dollar, whether it's township, county, federal, state, nothing. So just wanted to make sure you were aware there is nothing that has been given to that project from the township or any other source that's publicly funded.
So your recommendation, when somebody reads something like this, please call the township and get the true facts that we have available.
We're happy to answer those questions.
Mr. Miller, I don't know if there's a question for you or Mr. Weckbach. I know there's EPA standards with the lead paint that Mr. Schmidt mentioned with seven buildings that were pre-1978. I know that when Wawa or the developer takes that stuff away, it has to be remediated, and it doesn't actually even end up in Rumpke. It ends up, I think, in Indiana, doesn't it? Or
That I don't know. I'm not as familiar with that process.
There was likely a NESHAP report on each one of those buildings. Hamilton County does not give out demolition permits unless you have an environmental inspection. It's called a NESHAP report, and if there is an environmental issue, you have to be a specialty contractor to come in and take out asbestos or take out lead paint. So that's all. I mean, the county does enforce that, and I've been involved in some other demolition projects. And
Mr. Turner, maybe you could then talk about the fill that may be contaminated. That just doesn't go. That has to.
I'm not aware that there was any.
Well, if there is, I don't think there is any in this case.
Yeah,
but
you have to haul that off to a specialty site, and sometimes they bake it off in an oven to bring it up to temperature to cook any contaminants out of it or whatever. But that's not either of the sites we're discussing. So
strict requirements on environmental remediation. They test before the demolition ever occurs. If there is anything that must be remediated, it has to be done prior to the demolition, and it is hauled off site and disposed of according to regulation. And then whatever's left then is considered safe, and then they can dispose of that as they want, as they're doing at Sears. And so the demolition company that was hired to do that was Green City Demolition. They have a high priority in recycling as much as that as they can. And so if you were to drive by there, you can see all the different piles of debris. It's not just loaded up in one dump truck after another, but it is separated for specific disposal and recycling.
So, from what I understand, EPA fines are no joke.
That's exactly right. They are serious. I regularly attend on-site demolition meetings, and that is one of the things that's discussed on a regular basis is making sure that all of this is done according to the regs. So,
thank you.
just one other comment, David.
That is.
One other comment with that Wawa at Banning in Blue Rock. That I've lived out here my whole life, and I was riding up there as a 7-year-old going to the Eat and Treat Cream Whip. This will be the 6th gas station in that stretch of road in my lifetime, because old White Oak lawnmower a long, long time ago, I believe, was a Gulf station. And then there was a gas station where UDF was constructed, and that was UDF 1, and when that was taken down in 2011, and UDF 2, so that'd be 3 gas stations on that site. There used to be pumps across the street where the car lot is now, and then East Ohio, that became BP, that became White Oak Auto Care. I mean, people have been buying gasoline for quite a while. A lot of people don't realize there used to be a Texaco station at the corner of Banning and Pippin, where immediately next to Frederick Funeral Home, and there still is concrete there from it on that site, but there was gas stations all over the place. And prior to the upgrading of environmental rules in the mid '80s, there was independent gas stations everywhere, and when those rules changed, it caused a lot of the independent operators to go away. And I think the rules are better now. All these tanks are contained within their double-walled tanks, but there was gas stations everywhere. And one other comment, you were talking about a stormwater grant for the private property that is Northgate Mall. There was a comment made during the citizen address where we were talking about townships are responsible for stormwater. Every one of these subdivisions around here, let's start with the subdivisions. They have to go to Hamilton County to get a subdivision plan approved. Those contractors inspect the installed drains, the pavement, the curbs, and everything. And when the county is done inspecting it, they come to the township and say, here, take this, it's yours, it's on your property. And we've had discussions over many years about bringing up the standards specifically for pavement and pavement base. But all those drains, and I'm thinking of the development out there off Thompson Road, those are all county designed, county approved, county inspected, and then they hand them off to us when the project's ready to be turned over to us, and then we assume the maintenance on them. So we maintain drains that are on township roads. We don't design them, and we don't initially install them.
That's why I was going to ask you if you have an engineering degree for stormwater.
No, but I've just been around this stuff. We all,
Engineering degree for stormwater?
I think we have a unique board that we all bring something different to the
Right.
board with your real estate experience and Matt's life experiences and mine. I think we each bring something different here, and we don't design any of that stormwater, and we certainly don't design elevations of dirt. Water falls from the sky, it courses across the land. If every little township in Elmwood Place and Carthage and Blue Ash had their own stormwater districts, it would be a mess because water flows across the land. That's why it's a county-wide soil and water district that controls the elevations of dirt.
Did I mention the Duke grant?
No, you did not.
That's how I got onto the stormwater grant. So as we have continued to move forward on that project, we continue to apply for grants wherever we can. And so we did apply recently for one through Duke Energy Foundation, and we were awarded a partial towards an ALTA survey for every parcel on that whole site, on that full corner, right, from Colerain around Springdale. So it includes all of the outlots, all of the restaurants and retail. And then it would include also the utility analysis as well. So as a developer moves forward with that project of redevelopment of some or all, they need to know where all the utilities are. And so we were successful, and it was announced. We haven't got the final award yet, of course, but nonetheless, that was very recent, last week. So happy to report that. We just continue to work towards a new vision there, and we continue to work with the other property owners and towards what they want to see as well. So good working relationships, I think.
Good. And I just want to add to what Mr. Unger said there are some independent gas stations. It seems like, and maybe this is just different in the South, but the model, and maybe it's always been this way, but I've never been interested in it. The model seems to be that the corporate actually, you lease the space to the corporate, and the corporate then is responsible for all the environmental things. So it's not like, we have to find individual A and hold them responsible. If it's not corporate owned, it's the responsibility of the pumps, and then they throw back. In Florida, it's between 7 and 8 cents a gallon that you then get as the gas station is like a commission. And I don't know if that's standard industry-wide on non-corporate owned that are more individual-owned, but the corporations still have, the EPA requirements rather than an individual who may be overextended and doesn't have enough capital to weather that kind of storm. And again, I don't know if that, even we have independence here, so I don't know, but that's, I think, an extra buffer, extra layer of protection for EPA things.
Yes, I know more about that, but I'll save it for later.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Board. And just to address a few comments, I thought it might be helpful to actually pull up the Township Handbook, and I'm going to try to zoom in for you so you can see the full clause that was referenced.
This is the Ohio Township
Association, yes. So, and I'm going to read this into the record. Is a township required to maintain or repair underground stormwater drainage facilities installed by a developer of a residential subdivision located in the unincorporated territory of a township? The answer, it says, is a township is not required to maintain or repair underground stormwater drainage facilities installed by the developer of a residential subdivision located in the unincorporated territory of a township unless the maintenance or repair of the facilities is needed to remove surface waters from a township road. So a couple things on this question. The question seems to be tied back to residential subdivisions that are the developer of a residential subdivision is in the sort of question itself. And then I read the answer for you all for that. So that is something to keep in mind. I didn't catch the other piece that she was referencing. I think it may be further along, but yeah, I mean, existing detention basins and stormwater lines, we're required to maintain the ones that are dedicated to the township. Some of them are dedicated to the county, and so those are maintained by the county, and some are dedicated to the state and maintained by the state. Depends on the road and depends on how it was ultimately platted. So thought that would be helpful. And then to clarify another comment that was made, my statements have been that the only entity that has approved a permit related to the mound at the Wawa site has been Hamilton County Soil and Water. I'm happy to share that document as well. It's not our document because it was created and was an approval from Hamilton County Soil and Water. But, beyond that, I don't know what was being referenced or what allegedly I said. But again, to date, my knowledge is that Hamilton County Soil and Water is the only entity that has approved a permit that shows a mound on that site.
Okay, thank you. So we're done with administration. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. So lots of stuff happening the last 2 weeks. I always give out my phone number, and here it comes again, 513-404-3057. We don't talk to each other outside of meetings, and I don't want to be stepping over the other trustees. So just a few of the things I've been checking on. So you guys, in case you're getting calls on it, there's a house on 2766 Burnside that's kind of a mess. One thing has led to another. It's actually going to tax sale, so it's kind of hard to, unless we go cut it and assess the cost against the title of the house, that one's probably not going to get cleaned up too much. I did get a call about a nice fella that's parked himself in Home Depot's lot, and I know our police department went over and talked to him. Got a call today about a guy that's hanging out by the UDF on Banning. I don't know if you got that one or not.
I got the one at Cheddar's.
And these folks, they need help, and I think Hamilton County has wonderful facilities for some of these people that need some hope. And they are people. They're not somebody to be discarded, but I think we can do our best work when we kind of help guide them to the resources that the county has made available. We've had a issue over on Smithfield with some truck parking that I think is going to be resolved. Another issue on Sacramento. I know our police has done a great job with the case over there in the Burnside Geraldine subdivision, and I guess that's coming along. The bar that's over at Pippin and Compton, I've gotten a couple calls on that, and I've communicated with Jeff about that. A nice little neighborhood issue on Pool Road seems to be getting resolved successfully, and there was another comment where we were invited to a debate, and I'm certainly all up for that. Waycross is having one on September 30th, and it will really be the first chance for the trustees, because while we're sitting up here wearing our trustee hat, once we can put on the candidate hat, it should make for some exciting exchanges, and I'm certainly looking forward to that. And Then there was a habitat project did you make it out to visit that project?
Yeah, I did. And as we were talking to Habitat for Humanity, there were actually a number of Habitat houses on that street, so it was kind of neat. And one of the individuals that was there, I guess, moved in about 15 years ago. And so one of the things that Habitat does that I wasn't necessarily aware of and is worth just noting is they require the prospective new homeowner to go through a rigorous amount of courses and homework, and they actually then have to go to projects and volunteer their time. And so, they get far more training on how to be a homeowner than probably anybody that isn't going that route gets. So they'll be very well equipped to be great citizens in our community and have hopefully a great property for a long time to come.
That was all I had. Thank you.
All right, just a couple things to point out. Thank you for Mr. Schmidt. Is that right, Schmidt? Am I getting that right? Schmidt?
Point of order, may I answer the question?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I was so stumbling over Gerhardt, and I was so happy I got that right. Yeah, thank you for the thank yous that went out. I mean, all the employees at the township do a fantastic job. It just so happens usually that fire and police are under the spotlight because it impacts people usually at some of the worst moments of their lives. And I was, stunned and happy to hear about the impact team so far this year taking 18 firearms off the street. I think it was a couple meetings ago that I added it up as Chief was mentioning the fentanyl that was taken off the street, and it was literally enough. And Assistant Chief Mueller was here to help me do the math. Literally enough to kill every person in Colerain Township. So they are doing a fantastic job. It's not really in the police's nature to be like, hey, look at me. But somebody needs to do that, and I thank them for all the hard work in the pursuit that ended on Commons. Just a fantastic job. Everything. Has that investigation been completed yet, or?
In terms of
Does Ohio come and do investigation? Or?
The Ohio BCI comes in and they do the investigation on our end for our officers and their involvement, and then it's up to the prosecutor from there, is my understanding.
Has the BCI completed that?
I believe
Okay.
So.
Okay, yeah. So I won't speak on that, but just a fantastic job, and all the dealings with fire, EMS, and police that I've ever had have been fantastic and professional, everybody with Public Works as well. It's just a great crew that really sacrifices a lot of time and sweat equity to the township, and that doesn't go unnoticed. I think that might be it for this evening. Other than be safe at the game. LaSalle versus Elder at LaSalle this week, Friday.
Matt, I'd like to follow up with a little comment on what you said. The business that went on 10 or 11 days ago with our PD. That's not something out of a movie or something from a faraway city. That happened here, and it's scary stuff. And our people are out there in a lot of times easy situations, but sometimes some of the worst situations. And I need our PD to know that everybody up here is 110% behind the actions you took, and I'm guessing you are. You can comment on that too, Kathy, but that's an incredible amount of bravery that goes on, and you're looking at a very dangerous situation, and our training really stood out. So.
And just to support that I had two incidents on campus at Elder the last 2 weeks. One was during a freshman football game right up at the corner. If you're familiar with the Pete Whitty store, Baron Engraving and Rallies there was almost like there's 5 or 6 shots fired at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and I believe that the people that were firing the shots were 13. So we have 13-year-olds armed on the streets, and somebody had broken into one of our facilities, I guess allegedly, and when the police showed up, it was 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and I think the people were 8, 10, and 12. So you have an 8-year-old out at 2:30 in the morning. These are real things that the police are dealing with, and there seems to be, Hamilton County and CPD seem to have different views on this. And honestly, what happens is these these things go up from downtown. So they come up Mount Airy, where I live, and they come up Price Hill where I work, so I get to see it all. And, you know, I know that the police are very frustrated because they feel that their hands are tied. I hopefully speak for everyone, and hopefully the chief would agree that we don't try to tie your hands. We
Not
want
at all, Matt. Have at it, brother. That's what I say.
So, and it is such a stressful job. And I was talking to one of the fire EMS members about 2 weeks ago, and they responded to something. I can't remember what it was, and it just always kind of slaps me in the face because they had to put on their vests. They had to put on their bulletproof vests, the fire and EMS. We're living in a way different society than many of us grew up in, and the thing that keeps us out of chaos are these folks working for the township at every level. So I thank everyone that's involved with that. So with that, I'll yield to you.
Well, as Dan said, we don't get a chance to talk, but I don't have to talk to these two because our primary and foremost is to keep the township safe. And we know we've got a superior police department and a wonderful and top-notch fire department. So their actions speaks highly of the volumes of work they do for us as a township. And congratulating them for all their hard work. And also, our last concert was last Friday. It was it was just a wonderful, beautiful night. Lots of people there. But Debbie Potzer deserves a round of applause for all she does for her movies and everything she does for the parks and getting the families together. That was her last one, but we got October Barkfest. Am I saying that right? Was it?
Parktoberfest.
Parktoberfest, sorry. Doesn't slow off the words very well. And the other thing I'm working with her on is our Veterans Dinner, which is November 7th. Please, 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 if you know any veterans, I don't even care if they live in Colerain Township, please invite them to our dinner. It starts at, the doors will open at 5:30. We have a DJ, and we have a caterer, Hog Wild, that's going to be catering the event. And so it should be a wonderful night out. This is our way of giving back to the veterans. So please, if you know a veteran that they haven't seen a flyer or they don't have Facebook or respond to our emails, please invite them and have them call the township. And another thank you is for George Isford and his group, George and Pam, for cleaning up. Saw lots of bags this past Saturday. Thank you for keeping the township clean.
And just to follow up on the Veterans Dinner, which was kind of a pet project of mine when I first got here, because I realized the percentage of veterans in Colerain Township well exceeded the county. But you know, if you go, you will not leave without being emotionally moved by some of the stories that you get. And you know, it's interesting because now it's been a couple years, and veterans will come up and say, "Good to see you here again." And there's plenty of challenge coins that change hands and stories from POWs, and it's just as a history nerd, it's just amazing to me to hear these stories. This living history is fantastic to hear, and just the sacrifices that they've made, and it'll blow you away. It absolutely will blow you away.
It's very nicely attended. So we hope to have more of you.
All right. If that concludes trustee reports, we'll move on to new business, and we'll start with Police Chief Ed Cordy.
Now, Chief, now we said all this good stuff about you. You're not coming for money. Okay.
Short and sweet here. We got two things on the agenda. The first one being a resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle at 2968 Compton Road. At this address, we have a Class A Kemper with Florida plate JGPC 71, which is a 2004 white and gray Hurricane Triton camper. Recommend adoption of the resolution.
I'll motion to declare a junk and motor vehicle at 2968 Compton Road as identified by Chief.
I'll second.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, the second item is a resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle at 2731 Banning Road. At this address, there is a 2007 black Chevrolet Tahoe with Ohio plate KMT 5991. Recommend adoption of the resolution.
Motion to adopt the resolution declaring a junk motor vehicle as described by Chief at 2731 Banning Road.
I'll second.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, the next item will be presented by Development Director David Miller.
The motion before you is considering a Board of Zoning Appeals case that came through them. It is BZA case 25-26. And so the motion would be for the Board of Trustees to set a public hearing at your next meeting on September 23rd at 6 p.m. to consider abandoned signage at 9403 Colerain Avenue. And so
I'll motion to set a public hearing for September 23rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. Regarding Board of Zoning Appeals Case BZA-25-26, declaration of a non-conforming and abandoned sign at 9403 Colerain Avenue.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Board. The next item is a motion to set a work session on capital budget for October 14th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Just for reference, per the adopted rules of Township trustee procedure for trustee meetings, we're required to annually hold a work session regarding the capital reserve. So I would recommend adoption of the motion.
I motion we set a work session for the capital budget on October 14th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
I'll second.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. The next item will be presented by Assistant Administrator Jeff McElravy.
Welcome, Mr. McElravy.
The next item on your agenda is on page 12 of your board packet, and this is a resolution authorizing the establishment of an unclaimed monies fund. You've probably seen the other side of this, where there are websites that list unclaimed funds, and you can search them to see if you are due anything and then go through a process to claim those funds. This is the other side of that equation, where the township would establish a fund so that we can take all of our stale dated checks and transfer them to that fund, which sets the stage for, after a 5-year period, those funds going back to the general fund so that they can be appropriated for other use. And then, of course, if someone were to submit a claim and it's a legitimate claim, then we would issue a new check to make them whole. This resolution would establish that fund, and then we would follow the guidance from the auditor of state in terms of moving those stale checks to that fund, and staff recommendation is adoption of the resolution.
A motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the establishment of an unclaimed monies fund.
I'll second.
Now, Mr. McElravy, these names, if you're on this list, you get published all over the place. So, right, you get State of Ohio puts you on their list.
It's a different list.
Yeah, it's,
This is if the township would issue you a refund for a permit you didn't use and
Right.
you never cashed a check. Is that what that is?
Right, but I think you have to you have to report it to the state as a part of this, right?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
I am confident that we would need to establish our own list so that
Okay.
folks are able to know whether or not they're due any funds.
Okay, just so that there's a list somewhere.
And that would be if you had rented out the park and
Right.
canceled it and were due a refund and you got a check and you never canceled it. My concern with it was, let's say that some of those exist and 5 years from now, there's $30,000 in it and it's generating some investment income. I just as soon never touch the 30, but then we could start taking whatever investment income came from that and putting that in the general fund. Is that the discussion you and I had?
Yeah, and that's the way our accounts are currently set up, that unless it's required to go into a specific fund, corpus, as it's called, so the idle cash, any dollars generated off that go to the general fund. So that'd be the same for
Because
this.
It's been sitting for 5 years. I wouldn't want to.
Yep. Any interest earned on this fund would go to the general
But
fund.
would we ever spend a hypothetical 30, or would it just always sit there as an investment?
No, I think the idea is once it gets to year 5, then we can clear that obligation off of our book, and then we could move those dollars back into unrestricted use.
That's right.
Okay.
So basically, you would get
If 5 years is the
to be
right
on
number
list.
of years for that.
Yeah, that's part of the Ohio Revised Code.
Okay.
approximately how many do we have?
I don't have a good number. It's less than 100.
Okay,
I would
okay.
say.
I know it really screws up your accounting, and it's
Right.
hard to close out a month end when people don't cash checks, that we write them.
That's right, yes.
Right, Jeff? Baker?
Say that again?
I said, is that right? Just say yes.
Before that, but yes.
So when people don't cash checks that we write and it kind of screws up your month end.
Yes, it would.
Okay.
You made a motion.
Yeah, and you seconded it.
Yeah, that's all the discussion.
Okay,
Ms. Orich?
yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Board. The last item on the agenda today is old business, and this is a resolution updating the Township Policy Book. Assistant Administrator Mays is here to answer questions or provide insight, but for the most part, this is the same as what we saw last time.
Yes, actually, I do, so to put it on the floor, we have a resolution to adopt the updated Township Policy Book, and this information can be found on page 16 of your agenda packet. We did have two slightly new additions from the last time we spoke. We did discuss that with the ORC changing the public notification rules that you don't have to put it in a newspaper. We did update 3 policies that stated that we're just going to follow the ORC guidelines. We did find one more policy, our social media policy, that we needed to include in that group. So that was policy 3.6. And then as of this morning, we actually found a typo in policy 1.8 with our vacation. There was a typo with, we use our days for vacation earning of service, not years. So at the 25th year mark, we had the wrong amount of days. So there's a slight typo in there. So that's just to adjust that. We were off by 10 days for some reason. So, so instead of 25 years, you initially how it reads right now, you have to work 25 years and 10 days. So we're going to move that, fix that typo.
Okay.
So looking at the highlighted area in the first paragraph of the social media platform, it specifically says official public notices will be posted according to the current requirements as outlined in the Ohio Revised Code. So that would go on which one of our social media accounts?
So that would go, it's for our 4 policies. So that same language is in all 4 of our policies. But I think what the social media policy is stating is that
we can post it on Facebook or on LinkedIn or both,
Instagram,
or
any social
It would be
media.
Facebook.
okay, so that's where, if we were soliciting for a bid, that's one of the places you might find it is on Facebook. Okay.
MySpace?
Not MySpace. I don't believe we have a Township MySpace account.
Okay, we're going to make a motion.
We did, didn't we?
No.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, we did.
I'm
All right, I'll motion to adopt the updated Township Policy Book.
I'll second.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. The last items on the agenda are the consent items, which I'll read into the record. These are all contracts. First is with Choice One Engineering. This is for a boundary survey. This is for $7,625. One with Arcadis. This is for Station 26 and 102 detention pond plats at $8,000. Arcadis for a boundary survey at $8,500. And TransUnion, which is for some police software at $1,800. And I would recommend approval of all consent items.
I motion we approve the consent items as presented.
I'll second.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Okay, do we have a fiscal office report?
I do. I have a brief report. Thank you, Board. Public records requests, we have reached 325 with currently only one, which is a body cam request, so that takes a little bit longer, but we're down to one. And for revenue and payables percentages year to date, well, we're still trending very positively for revenue. We are currently at about 59%, so trending very well there. And on accounts payable, we are at about 59.395%, so we're trending very well in those areas. And that's all I have.
Is there an executive session needed?
Not that I'm aware of.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, well, we are adjourned at, we have to wait for the vote, sorry.
Taking a vote took from 6:59 to 7.
I know, this is a.
Ms. Orich?
Yes.
Mr. Unger?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes,
Okay, we're officially adjourned at 7 PM. Thanks for being with us tonight.
thank you.